Welcome everybody live to CSGB Round 6 Season 3. We are in Austin, Texas. That means one thing. It is the United States Grand Prix. We are very close to the qualifying session. And we have a very quick lobby here this evening for Round 6. We have a couple of reserves filling in. I'll go through them as we go through the qualifying session. But it's all to play for here in Round 6. The skies seem bright overhead here for this qualifying session, which is good to see, which means we'll see the maximum pace these drivers can produce. I expect somewhere in the mid to high 128s, with a few drivers, majority of the grid, in the 129. That's my prediction for the qualifying session here. Let me get these telemetry settings for you, and we'll get on with the qualifying session as soon as it happens. Strategical options here are going to be very interesting. It's going to be a tough strategical decision for some of the drivers, with the majority of the cars looking to go out on the soft tyres, but we have an option here from Mesa to go out on the mediums. It is Sly Guy though, who's the first man out of the blocks, looking to set a good lap here as he fires it through the S section. On this outlap, I will show you currently the standings you are seeing. So here are the drivers' standings after 5 rounds of racing. After Belgium, the calculations have been made, and Netsky leads the way by nearly 30 points already. So he's 29 points clear of Eklund in second. Sly Guy, who you just seen taking the first lap out, is in third place. Kazakh, who's been Mr. Consistent this season, is currently in fourth. Liam, who is no longer racing with us, is in fifth, so that is the total for the season. Jay Wizzy will be looking to overtake him and take fifth position this week as he's in sixth. Noah is in seventh. Rappel, after a quick start, is straight up into eighth place, so he's had a great start. Rainman is in ninth, and Vapor Trench is in 10th. Hindle, as a reserve, is behind in 11th. Jay Prentice is going steady. 2 retirements last time out in Belgium. Not good for him. He's in 12th. Oscar is in 13th. IMAX is in 14th. Bowers in 15th. And Carwin Roberts in 16th. And then the rest are all very close together at the bottom there. I will also show you now the team standings. Here we go then. So AlphaTauri are topping the leaderboards with Alfa Romeo in second. Renault third, Haas fourth, Scuderia Ferrari fifth, Williams sixth, Racing Point seventh, eighth for McLaren, ninth for Mercedes, and Aston Martin are in 10th. But here we are then. City Sly Guy is on his lap and looking to set a early start and put the pressure on the drivers behind as he comes through at this difficult S section. Down to 6th gear, keep it nice, and we got a 5-place grid penalty with a collision back there for Jay Prentice and Messerschmitt, so I don't know exactly what's happened there on the outlaps, but there's been a collision, and that's 5-place grid penalty as we see Sly Guy get all out of shape. He's continuing with his lap though, he's not pulling out. He has pulled out, in fact, as I say that, so he is out of his first lap. He's pulled out. Who's the next person on track? Is it James Dovey? No, it would be Tribe, it seemed. So we'll stay on board with the Red Bull driver who's looking to try and get in the point this evening. I'm sure that'll be the challenge for himself. Here he comes, and DRS open as he fires it down the back straight to finish his Sector 2 time. Hard on the brakes. I'm going to clip that apex as much as you can, use as much of the runoff on that right hand side. Purple in Sector 2, but that's obviously what you'll get being the first man to set a time. Tribe then coming to the difficult double left-hander. Wicks it in that little apex. Difficult exit. You want to try and keep it as close to the inside here as he swings it round. And that is what he's doing. This is a difficult, easy to invalidate on this corner, and he hasn't quite taken the amount of apex as you can, but he will get a time on the board unless he doesn't run wide here and bring it around the last corner. Tribe will top the leaderboard currently with a 131.1, so that will be beaten, I'm sure of it. We have, not Jay Wizzy, it will be IMAX coming to the line, starting his lap. There are a few cars pulling out with the Ferraris coming to the line. No, we don't. Who do we have coming to the line? Noah. Oh, Ekelund has crossed the line in the Alfa Romeo, sorry, in a 30.2. Still more time than that, as Jay Prentice goes behind in a 31.1. So a few lap times being repeated here. We have a Renault coming around the final corner. It will be the new man, the man taking the Renault seat for the full time, taking the place, and he takes the top of the leaderboard. So a great start for him on his debut here in CSGB, and he's topped it with a 29.8. So a good lap for the Renault driver, as James Dovey drops himself in 4th place, just behind, as the two Ferraris set themselves in 3rd and 4th with a 30.8 and 30.9 respectively. Coming to the line, we have a Williams taking the final few corners. That will be Vapor Cobalt, and it's home Grand Prix, the American. He's on an outlap. Is anyone on a flyer? Roimsey. He is on a flying lap. So we'll stay on board with the McLaren as he comes through the S section. Take it flat. A little bit of a lift there as he stays in 7th and down to 6th now. This is a very tricky section of the track, Sector 1. Doesn't go purple, the McLaren driver, but I don't think you expect that from him, as his results haven't shown he is at the top of the grid this season, but he will be trying to get into the points as he has done consistently in a few races. And here he comes then, down to the difficult left-hander, trying to clip that apex. It's difficult to get the exit out here, but as he comes up to the corner, the ERS opens up. IMAX is in 3rd currently, Noah Jones and Bowers in 5th, James and Tribe in 6th and 7th, so Roimsey looking to join the pairings in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th and 9th, and 9th and 10th are the Haas boys currently, with Rappel obviously not setting a lap yet. But here comes Roimsey then, still flying as he comes around this long right-hander to finish his Sector 3. Will he be able to keep it valid then over this little lip of a left-hand corner? The answer is yes, just about on the exit. Pushing the limits all the way, a bit of lock-up into the final corner, and he runs wide, keeps it valid somehow. I'm not sure how that was allowed, but he does pull it behind his teammate. So we have a Ferrari 4.5, a Red Bull 6.7, and a McLaren 7 and 8.9. So teams all going to be bunched up then. So this is probably not going to be the best idea for them all, as we have Rappel, who is coming round, but he has invalidated. Here comes Samba, he's also invalidated. And we'll have the next person behind will be a Mercedes. That is Carwin Robb, who is flying currently. He's looking to put himself up the order then. Here comes his first lap, coming to the line. The Mercedes driver, the Welshman, puts himself up into P4. So a solid lap opening up his account for the qualifying session. And I'm sure he'll be fairly pleased with that one. Sly Guy then is the other Renault. Can he join his teammate at the top of the leaderboard? As you saw, he went purple in Sector 2. Time for Sector 3 then, as he's trying to keep it on the track and keep it nice and consistent. I'm just going to remove the tyre detail just to give it more screen to see, as we now see everyone is on the soft tyres. So here comes Sly Guy onto the tricky left-hander. Takes it absolutely perfectly, nails the apex. Here he comes to the final corner. This is looking like a pole position lap from the Renault driver. Will he join his teammate on top of the leaderboard? The answer is yes, he will. It's a 1-2 for Renault. I saw a purple Sector 2 and 3. And silly Sly Guy, who has had a slow start due to illness, he's come back and he's fighting his way at the top of the leaderboard. A good lap for him. We have the two AlphaTauris now on outlaps. We'll stay on board with Netsky, who we fully expect to take or compete at least for pole position. He is currently sat 16th on the time trial standings, is Netsky. 16th overall, which is absolutely incredible. I'll do anything to get near the top 1,000, let alone the top 16. As you can see, he takes every limit he can. As we see Samba pop up into 3rd place, so a good lap from him, as Netsky sets purple Sector 1 on his first flying lap. Can he keep it valid? He does. He takes all the track. and clips that little inside curve, which could take a little bit more of, but he runs himself down, uses half of the apex and half of the track as he flings it round now, tries to get his best exit as he can down the long straight. DRS open. He will be looking to try and get another pole position this season. It's hard on the brakes. Takes as much of that curve as he can. And here he comes then. Purple sector 2. 1 minute, nearly dead. So it's purple for Netsky. Looking on to take pole. Looks up. Ferrari in front of him is probably on a lap. Ferrari on in front of him is on an out lap, so he shouldn't be in any of his way whatsoever. But he does get out of the way, does Bowers. So good from him. That may have put Netsky off a bit as you saw him swing it in there. Not tight enough to that apex, so he might have lost a lot of time. He's run out of ERS as well, but he will cross the line. Third place. So as you saw, that little mistake there in the final sector has put him down in third place. Maybe Bowers being in the... Bowers did do anything wrong there, but maybe just a car being in his way maybe unsettled him. And that has left him in third place. We'll see who's coming to the line. Samba is in the pit lane. There is a McLaren coming to the line. That is Jay Prentice then, rounding the final corner. The McLaren driver, is he going to improve? Yes, he does by nearly half a second and throws himself up into the top 10. There's a Red Bull behind. That will be Tribe who opts the pit. We have Ryder who is on an outlap, and we now have Messer coming to the line. He does improve up to 7th, so just above his teammate Messer Schmidt, who had a good race last time out. A few mistakes cost him points. But yeah, he jumps up there. Eklund, it seems, has gone up a place as well. Improved by 3.7 tenths of a second. He's in 4th. We have a racing point going around the final corner. That will be Jay Wizzy, who's about to start his lap, I believe. Yes, so he has that one currently validated. Here comes Noah Jones to the line. Half a second improvement, 7th for him. James Abbey right behind takes 8th. 0.04 of a second between those two. Is that Bowers just crossed the line? It is. We have a Mercedes coming up. Is that Vapor Trench? It is. Here he comes in around the final corner. The Mercedes. Can he get anywhere near his teammate? Of course he can. Takes 6th place, Vapor Trench. Good luck from him. IMAX into the pit lane. We have Roymty then coming up to the final few corners. No, we don't. It's Jay Prentice on his in lap. Try and find someone who is on a lap then. Anyone actually flying at the minute? Yes, Ryder is. Will he improve? Yes, he will. 1/10. Stays second, but does improve. But still 5/10 off silly Sly Guy. Sly Guy's put in a great lap there. And he'll be very happy, sat happy at the top of the podium, but he knows Netsky will be coming as quickly as he can. As you see a few more cars diving into the pit lane. We'll stay on board as Kazakh start his flying lap. The Williams driver currently sat 4th in the championship standings. Looking to try and increase his point gap on the drivers behind and maybe try and close in on those cars ahead of him. And unfortunately for himself, he has invalidated. So 14 minutes into the qualifying session, he still has not set a lap. Neither has his Williams teammate. We have a Red Bull coming to the line. It will be Tribe, so stay on board with him as he comes to start his flying lap. This probably is going to be his last one, because I don't think he'll get round back in and out again in that time. So here he goes then. The Red Bull driver currently sat in 16th with his teammate in 10th. Red Bull, of course, bottom of the Constructors' Championships as we speak, but I'm sure they'll have something to say about that and try and improve over the coming races. But the skies are clear currently in Austin. We see all drivers setting laps on the soft tyres. So does that mean we may have a wet race? But Tribe 1.5 tenths up into Sector 1. Good start from him on this flying lap. We have a lot of drivers in the pit, so they're just preparing themselves for flying laps with about 3 minutes 50 to go. Honda engine growling as he's hard on the brakes into that corner. But now on the exit, he is strong on the foot and strong on the pedals. DRS open as we get a lovely rear wing camera angle here. Hard on the brakes in the turquoise helmet. Here comes Tribe then, flooring it as he crosses the Sector 2 split time. 3 tenths up, looking good for him. Currently put himself up 1 position or so. This is a very quick lobby, like I said previously. Little bit of a correction on the steering as he comes out of the tricky double left-hander, and on the long right-hander should be flat quite comfortably in these cars. Will he keep it valid on the difficult corner here? You bet he does. On the exit as well, because holds it. Here he comes then to the line. Tribe. Currently in 16th. Goes 13th, so he improves massively. Half a tenth. Nearly half a second, sorry. 5 tenths. And a good job. Well done for him. Here comes Rappel then, who's 4 tenths up. He is a very quick driver himself. Looking to stick himself well up the leaderboard with this lap. 4 tenths up. He's looking to get in the top 10. Maybe even the top 5 if he can continue this pace. Here he comes then, the Haas driver. A little dab on the brakes. A lot of throttle. And he puts himself up to 7th. So lost a bit of time in the final sector. But I'm sure he'll be fairly happy with that lap. As you see a McLaren come to the line. That would be Roimsey, who is now starting his lap. We have Rainman and Cobalt, the only 2 drivers yet to set a lap. And I'm sure they'll be desperate to get one in the bank. Roimsey then, go for take 2. Half a tenth up then on his first lap. The driver currently sat bottom of the timing rankings, looking to improve. And he takes a lot of curb on that entry. The Haas getting out of the way. I'm guessing that's Rappel after his flying lap. McLaren flinging it down on the back straight. And you see the heat haze there, just showing how hot it is in Texas at the minute. Lock up there, but that won't impede his time too much. He is half a second, 3 tenths up. But a split time well off the pace of those higher up the grid. But I'm sure he'll just be looking to get himself up as high as he can. And he's currently 6 tenths off the driver ahead of him. The question is, will he improve? I think he will, but will he improve on his standings? We'll have to wait and see as we come around the final couple of corners now. Takes it wide, takes all the track. He's got to be careful not to lock up, but he does. But he keeps it nice and stable, just about in the limits. And he crosses the line. 4 tenths improvement, but no improvement on the standings. It's not Messerschmitt approaching the line. It will be Rappel, who's going for another flying lap on the same tyres. We have a lot of cars on outlaps, so we need to find the front of the outlapped drivers. Next, currently sat in the middle of the grid. In the middle of the pack, I mean. I believe it is Rappel, who's on another flying lap. So he's 200ths down as we speak. He has a Ferrari right behind him. So we'll stay on board with the Haas as he's going for another flying lap. Currently down on his lap, but he will be looking to improve, I'm sure. I think he's got more pace on those soft tyres left. Tyre wear around here is fairly nice. Not too aggressive. Not too much wear. But he is doing all he can to eke every second, every millisecond out of those tyres that are going for a second run now. As he locks up into the left hand. Take a lot of curb, which you are supposed to do. Purple sector 2 then for Rappel. 600th of an improvement as number 9 car whips it round, nicely controlled by him, nice and smooth on the throttle. Netsky's been disqualified from the session, so I don't know what exactly happened there, but that would be Netsky starting from the back of the grid. Your championship leader has been disqualified from the session. I have no idea what's happened. I'm sorry I missed that. I've been watching the qualifying laps, but Netsky has been disqualified from the session as Rappel improves by nearly 2 tenths, 1.5, puts himself in 5th place as Eklund improves as well and puts himself in 3rd. So a lot of drivers have been gifted positions here due to that disqualification. As James Duffy banks the final corner, he's going to come across the line and put himself in 7th place. Behind him is Jay Wizzy, who's invalidated. We have a Renault right behind. That will be Ryder Dahl, who cannot improve his position on the track. We have a lot of cars crossing the line. Bowers is in the mid-pack. We have a Williams who's close to the line. It is Cobbold. He's left it late at his home Grand Prix. Has he left it great? Not particularly. He stays bottom of the list. So not good for him. Here comes Bowers then. He's pulled out of his lap. We have another invalidation from the AlphaTauri. So your team that are top of the championship standings for constructors are currently sat bottom and disqualified and 16th on the grid. Roimsey then, feeding it around the final few corners. He seems to have pulled out of his lap, and I think that is correct. And that is it for qualifying. And that was eventful when it came to the end. Netsky, the big news is that he is disqualified from the session. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but we'll run you through the order quickly. City Sligo with an early lap, set that nice and early on his second run, takes pole position. Samba is in 2nd place. Ryder on his debut takes 3rd. Eklund is in 4th. Vapor Trench takes 5th. Rappel is 6th. Dovey 7th. IMAG's 8th. Colin Robb 9th. Noah Jones in 10th. Jay Wizzy takes 11th. Messer takes 12th in the Haas. Kazakhs won't be happy with that one and down in 13th. Triby tried his best, but he's in 14th. Prentice has a 5-place group penalty. He's in 15th. CSGB Rainman is currently in 16th. Bowers down in 17th place. Roimsey joins his teammate in the bottom 10. Cobbold left it late, but it really wasn't great from him. And of course, the big news that Netsky was disqualified. So, that was the qualifying session. That was eventful. As the drivers will now get ready to, get ready to race. It's going to be get ready to get your life jackets on because it is flooded here in Austin. It is a wet race, as you can see. All drivers will have to take that into consideration. Will it be a full wet start or an intermediate? It looks like full wets to me. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. As the drivers are ready up, I will take you through some of the track information from Codemasters themselves. Here you are.
We have 10 turns to the left and 10 to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and 12 at this anti-clockwise 3.6 mile track.
So, big news. Netsky has been disqualified from the session. We did have an early ready up there from a few of the drivers. Sly Guy readied up early, so he'll be getting a talking to. Rainman hasn't readied up yet. 2 seconds on the clock, so we have another early ready up. The drivers are only allowed a maximum of 55 kilograms of fuel. No more than that. So that is your limit. I'll just change this to the feature race. There you go. So as you can see, the heavens have opened up. It is a full wet start there for the drivers. I believe that will be the case. Let's have a look at the tyres. Yes, everyone starting on the full wet, as we have someone disqualified from the Vapor Trench was disqualified from the formation lap. But I'll tell you who are sitting pretty here. It's a Renault 1.3 and a Alfa Romeo 2.4. So, we've had another 2 disqualifications. Kazakhs and Messer getting in to a little kerfuffle there. As you see, a lot of weaving and a lot of rain on the track. Be interesting to see if the rain remains. But it is very wet out on track at the minute. As we have 3 cars not being able to warm up their tyres, even if you can warm them up at all in these wet conditions. But it is wet. That is the main thing to take from this. It is a wet race and a wet day in Austin. Apologies for that banging. Didn't mean that. But yeah, it's going to be a interesting race. Interesting feature race for sure. strategy goes all out the window, and it's down to who's got the most pace in the rain. Slight Guy had the most pace in the dry. So let's see if he has the same amount of pace in the rain as we continue. Puddles everywhere. Rain everywhere. The umbrellas are out in the crowds, as you can see. It may be snowing in the United Kingdom at the minute, but it is definitely raining in Austin, Texas. The drivers then pulling up to the line, ready for lights out in the circuit of the Americas. It's very wet. It's very, very wet. Looking for a good light. Here we go then. Its engines are engaged. The clutches are ready to bite. And it's lights out, and we're underway here in Austin. It seems to be a good start from Sly Guy. Is Sam going to make a move to the inside? No, a little bit twitchy there, so it might have allowed the Haas down the inside. Rappel going to take advantage of that. Sly Guy, car number 69, takes the lead. The other Renault pushed out wide, and it looks like Rappel's snuck away through there, so a great start from the Haas driver. We don't see her to have any spins at this minute. Will we have any going through the S section? It's very packed through there. Visibility round. We have a Red Bull gone round. Who is that? It looks like James Dovey facing the wrong way. No, it's not. It's Tryby. Tryby is facing the wrong way. Who has joined him? That will be CSGB Rainman. So an absolute terrible start through there. Nothing. No one is out of the race, but that is damage for the Red Bull and the Red Bull sister team, AlphaTauri. Not a good start for them two. Collisions always lightly through that section, and the rain just making it even harder. Netsky trying to fight his way through the field. He's already got past the two McLarens and his teammate and Tryby off the start. So that disqualification didn't do him the world of good, as we see cars flying up the straight in these wet conditions. Obviously no DRS in these wet, treacherous conditions. Kazakh's moving past Noah Jones there with a bit of ease, it seemed. Noah doesn't look up to give up a fight, and the Williams passes into the points. The two racing points currently behind one another, but the front two have pulled away ever so slightly. Rappel looking to try and get up the inside of Sly Guy. Sly Guy is sliding all over the place. Cuts in front of the Haas there, back onto the racing line, but he keeps the position. And Rappel stays in second place, but a good start for him. Samba struggled off the line. He's being pressured now by Ryder. See what the new man can do. If he can try and close the gap here. A little bit of a twitch on the steering wheel, but that's expected in these conditions. This rain is absolutely tipping it down. Sly Guy sets the fastest lap. The first lap completed. We have no cars out of the race. It'll be interesting to see what happens as IMAX has got past. No, it's just a silly glitch, as we have Jay Prentice into the pits as well. So he must have picked up damage on the first lap as well. I saw him getting very close to the two McLarens, the two Netsky and his teammate. But as we stand, it is currently Sly Guy still leading from Rappel, who had an amazing start. And now it's a bit of a gap forming back to the Alfa Romeo of Samba. But it's still a long race to go. 25 laps of pure rain and madness and chaos. Ryder then is keeping himself in a good position at the minute. The new man will scroll through the back of the grid. Doesn't seem to be too many moves going back. I say that as Messerschmitt seems to be getting in on the action back there. A little bit of a wiggle from him, it seemed, but it's side by side between the cars. It's Bowers and Netsky looking to go side by side. Seems that Netsky's got past him. Will Bowers look to the inside to go past the AlphaTauri driver? He's thinking about it. He's late on the brakes, but not late enough. A little bit of a lock-up, and Netsky keeps the position. Netsky obviously got the pace on the majority of the field here, but he's got to do the long way around. It's normally he finds himself in these positions in the sprint race, the reverse grid, but he's got to do it in the feature race. He's got more laps to do it, and I wouldn't bank on him not getting in the good points here. Wouldn't bank against him. there's the predicted strategy then. Wet, wet. But we're not sure what's going to happen with this rain, whether it's going to carry on or whether it's going to stay around for the foreseeable future. 2.3 seconds then the gap between second and third. Samba just a little bit ahead of Ryder, but nothing too big at the minute. Rainman seemed to have got away without damage there. The only thing he must have had problems was with is the just a spin for him. So he's managed to stay out of trouble. He wasn't a gravel at a point, but Prentice and Tribe have seemed to be the ones that have got out worse from the situation on lap 1. And the wet weather conditions just means that the tyres aren't really going to make a difference at this stage if you pit. It's going to be a one-stop if the conditions stay the same, and the driver's going to want to try and eke out as much time in the current tyres before the interchanging intermediate tyres come in and see if this track dries up at all. But at the moment it's still floods, waterfalls and rivers is how I describe the scenery. Ryder then, can he make a move at all on Samba in front of him? No he can't, not close enough this time around. We have Jay Wizzy and Kazakhs touching here as they're going around the hairpin at the bottom of the DRS straight. Here goes Kazakhs down the inside. There's contact. It doesn't look like to be anything that's too dangerous. Kazakhs gets in front of his man. And Ryder has slipped past Samba here. They're side by side going around his left-hander. Let's stay on board with this as Ryder still to position back into third place. The Alfa Romeo looking right on the behind of the Renault driver. And Rappel has got past Sly Guy there as well. So a mistake there from the Renault, it seems. And Rappel has taken the lead. He sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:49.7. And that is Renault's down in P2 and 3 now. So Rappel's taken advantage there. He's up a lot of positions. Let's have a look and see if the position changes at the moment. Let's see how many places they've gone up. So Rappel, fantastic start out the blocks. Struggled in qualifying. I knew he would be faster than he was. Obviously saying his fastest lap on the older compound, on the older set of tyres. But he's up 5 positions and he's in first place in a minute and has just over a second lead. Kazakhs has had a good start as well. Bright start from him. Not bright on the weather, but it's bright start. Netsky up 7th to 12th, so he's a lightning start, but nothing you would not expect from him. And a few chopping changes here and then. Cobalt also having a good start. Jay Wizzy picks himself up a penalty. The 2 racing points are on penalties then. You can see a lot of twitching as you cycle through the field. IMAX looking to try and get on the back of Vapor Trench. We see a car pulling wide up ahead. The 2 Alfa Romeos, maybe a bit of team orders there, as Samba put the pull to the defensive line and Eklund just went round the outside fairly easily. So a chop and change in the Alfa Romeo standings. That's Eklund up to 4th and Samba switching down to 5th. And behind them is a big old train taking place. Currently Kazakhs is in a a Racing Point sandwich right on the back of IMAX. You got past Jay Wizzy a moment ago. Wizzy going to try and get past the other Racing Point in the rain. The man from Finland, good at battling extreme conditions, especially in the winter. Telling me it's minus 14 degrees where he is currently in Finland, hibernating inside in the warmth. Let's see how he is in the rain though. Normally it would turn to snow for him, but it's currently wet weather conditions. As you can see, you can hear it splattering down on the front wing here of the Williams. Is he going to make a move into turn number 1? No, he's not. Visibility very, very poor, as you can or can't see. Some driver, massive wheel spin there out of that turn, out of turn number 2 in 4th gear. So weather is terrible here in Austin. But out in front, Rappel still leads the way. The Haas driver taking a permanent seat just a week or 2 back, and he's charging out in front, out the front. He's pushed himself up early on the leaderboards. Silly Sly Guy and Rappel both starting late into the season, but they're going to be picking up vital points as well. As Netsky's still down in 12th place, this may dent his title push. He's got a good lead, so it won't be affect him too badly. But a good push here for these 2 drivers may put them straight up into the title contenders and hopefully we'll get an interesting battle as this race continues between each front two. 4.5 seconds behind is Ryder, so these front two really pulling away. You seem to see this a lot in the wet conditions. If you can get away from the pack and then we just see each other around, you can make a big gap. Big gap forming in between 5th and 6th. 1 second it seems, not too big, but there's a few little trains started to form. We've got 5th down to James Dovey in 10th. He's dropped off a little bit after his qualifying, but I'm sure he's doing okay in the points, but he knows he's got Carwin behind him and Netsky will be hunting him down later on, I'm sure. Rappel sets the fast lap again. See if anyone else sets the fast lap as well. But 1 second gap for the Rappel at the front. Netsky is closing in then on Carwin Rob. The Welshman will feel the power of the AlphaTauri driver as Carwin Rob gets a little bit wiggly down the straight. Obviously hard to control. Netsky will have seen that. Will he make a move into turn number 1? You bet he will. He's late on the brakes. Massive brake. But what a move that was. Timed his braking to perfection. Netsky up into 11th place from a mile back. As you see, Samba picks himself up a penalty though, so he will not be happy with that. But Netsky, what an absolute move that was. Late on the brakes in these conditions, you've got to risk it. And if he wants to get up the field, he has to do things like that. And that was an absolutely brilliant move from the Swedish driver. Alfa Romeo will be loving these points towards the Constructors' Championship, currently seeing their rivals in 11th place and 18th place. So both drivers out the points for the AlphaTauri team are currently topping the leaderboards. But this rain doesn't look like it's going anywhere soon. As you stay on board with this little AlphaTauri, we'll stay on board with Kazakh, as he's the man, he's closest. I'm going to take a look at the comments in the stream. I do apologise that I haven't been keeping up with them. I am having a few internet issues myself, so if the more things I continue to use on my internet, the worse it gets. So I'm just trying to limit as much as I can. But I'll take a quick look now on the comments. Got off Tom saying Pad OP here. Yes, this track is difficult for everybody, but Sly Guy now taking the fastest lap as we see Kazakhs and IMAX getting close. Kazakhs got past there. IMAX down the inside. Has Kazakhs completed the move? The answer is I don't know because they're side by side. IMAX going to have the inside line there for turn 1. Both using all their battery as much as they can. Kazakhs seems to be later on the brakes. Kazakhs much later on the brakes and gets the better line through there. So he'll keep the position. Williams driver up into 7th place and looking to try and pull away from the Racing Point pair. He has got both cars now in a space of a few laps. But yeah, doing well, the Racing Point driver. I hope everyone in the stream is having a good day. All 22 of you, thank you very much for tuning in. We have just ticked over 70 subscribers here on the CSGB Racing YouTube channel. As you see Sly Guy getting close to Rappel. So please hit that like button if you aren't driving, of course. Please hit that like button if you are watching. It means a lot. But here goes Sly Guy down. He's got to look down the inside of Rappel. He's going to make the move. No, he's not. We do have Sly Guy's engine issue again, so he sounds like he's choking a bit. I'm not sure why his car does this, unless it's just the Renault engine. I don't think it is. But Rappel keeps the position for now. So Silly Sly Guy taking in a lot of time off the Haas, but not taking his position. As you see, the grid is very split now. James Dovey, the closest man on track to making a move. Jay Wizzy just dropping back a little bit the last few laps. He's been done by Kazakhs, who's got past his teammate as well. They both want to be sitting in the points. Netsky is going to jump on his train as well. So we'll stay on board with this as Bowers gets past Messer around the hairpin. These two are still fighting on the long right-hander, and it seems like Bowers has got the job done. As you can hear the buzzing bee, that is Sly Guy's car. Might be a car in front also having the same engine issue. But Bowers up into 15th place, teammate in 13th. So Ferrari, I'm sure, will want to get a move on up the table. But we'll jump back on the battle for the points. Netsky obviously on a charge to try and close the gap to Dovey. And you can see he's doing that corner by corner. A lot of pressure being put on the Englishman in that Red Bull. Cohen Robb picks himself up a 3-second penalty. Treacherous conditions. I have noticed there has been a lot more wet races this year in this game. I've seen it elsewhere as well. A lot more wet races. I'm not sure if that's just a coincidence or whether they've actually increased the chances of wet races happening. But the track's not drying up, and neither is the rain, really. You can see the indented racing line where the cars have just been ploughing over it for the last 8 laps. Is Netsky going to get a move then? Late on the brakes, like he was on Carwin Robb. Will he catch James Dovey napping? He's not pushing though, so it looks like he's not going to make a move this time around as the 2 racing points get close ahead. Kazakhs getting close now onto the back of Vapor, so he's played his way through the midfield and looking to get up into those high point scoring positions. It's very close between third all the way down to Kazakhs himself, and there's a little bit of a bunch gap all the way down to Netsky in the next pairing. Cohen Robb sort of having his own race in a minute on the edge of the points. He'll be hoping for a mistake or a crash in the cars in front, but at the moment the drivers kept it clean. We haven't had a safety car or a virtual safety car this race, which is just a good credit to those drivers on the track in a minute, keeping it clean, keeping it safe in these horrible conditions. Got a few spinners on lap 1. That will be Tribe and Rainman. As Netsky gets past Dovey here then. He gets past him into turn 1, and Netsky moves into the points. Dovey moving backwards and joins his teammate out of the points for now. But there's still a long way to go. 19 laps left here in America. In the United States, no moves being made so far, but as you expect, that is going to be something for the drivers to think of later in the race if this weather does clear up. But at the moment it is absolutely tipping it down, and the drivers are just going to want to keep it on track for now. Kazakh's getting close then, on the back of Vapor Trench, looking to deploy his battery. Is Vapor Trench doing the same? No, he's not. So maybe Kazakh's going to go down the inside. He's not close enough to Trench this time around. And the 2 Mercedes engines can't battle one another. And the Mercedes stays ahead this time around. I'll stay on board with this though to see if it does capitalise into anything. As Kazakh's looking to go round the outside of double left hand. He's looking to switch back. He doesn't time it very well. A little bit of slippage and a slide. A little bash on the back of Trench. Trench will have the inside for the long right-hander. They're side by side. It's going to be close. Kazakh's almost trying to force a move here as the Mercedes swings across in front of him. We'll have the right line for this long left-hander. And Kazakh stays behind for now, but he's trying to force a way through is the Williams driver. But for now, staying behind. Eklund has got past Samba as Samba is in the pit lane. So that is our first pitter for new tyres, I think. Is Kazakh going to be close enough to make a move, though, on Vapor Trench? It doesn't seem like he is. Is Samba changing a front wing? No, he's gone to intermediate tyres then. So maybe it's time for the intermediates to come out. An interesting call. Maybe it's one he thinks may work. Maybe Jeff's been on the phone. But we have a retirement. Messerschmitt's going to the pit lane, it seems. Has crashed. And Leslie's just called it a day. But he is out of the race. So that is our first retirement of the session in the pit lane. Messer out of the race, the Haas driver. And he will be disappointed with that. Eklund, though, close in the back of Ryder. As the track must be drying out if one driver's gone to the intermediates. Maybe it's time for the little switch across. Kazakhs then, looking to try and get maybe past Vapor Trench this time around. Both burning battery, Trench with the more ERS. It's just not going to be close enough as no DRS in play at the minute. And no move completed. Will Netsky get past Jay Wizzy? He's reeling him in at a rate of knots. We have a yellow flag. That is a Haas gone round. I think that was just a disconnection of Messer's car. So it must have come out the pit lane. And he has finally left the track. So no safety car caused by that one. Let's see how Samba is doing on the intermediate tyres though. See if he's struggling. And see what's going on with a battle with Roimsey here. Has he called it too early? Roimsey looks to be all over the back of the intermediate driver. Maybe it was a little bit too early of a call. As you see, the front two not pitting yet. So Samba's choice to go onto tyres may have backfired. But Rappel and Sly Guy, 10 seconds clear. Jay Wizzy in a fight with Netsky. Netsky has got past IMAX. That's because IMAX is pitted. And so has Dovey. Samba not quite setting the fastest lap. Or will he? Let's see. No, he doesn't set the fastest lap. So, not the fastest out lap on him on the fresh intermediates. I don't know what I'm saying now because he's just pitted a lap. So, it'll be this lap to see if they are up to speed. But the intermediate tyres then look like they're going on a few cars. We may be over that changeover period. It'd be interesting to see if they go to the end. I'm not sure how many laps they can do, but it will probably be touch and go for another stop on those intermediates. Kazakhs then close the trench yet again, but probably no move's going to be made. And I am correct. Just stays off, backs off for another lap. Be interesting to see who comes into the pits then. We'll go on board with the front two as they come around the final sector, and we'll see if either of the front two drivers do pit to go onto the intermediate tyres as well. Okay then, Sly Guy, go for a little dummy there into the pits it seems. As you got a little bit of out of sort, but they're both staying on the wet tyres. I know they've got enough space behind them. Just to keep a bit of distance, they can make the right call when they need to make the right call. Ryder stays out as well, and Eklund also follows the Renault round the final corner, and the front drivers are also staying on the wet tyres. As you see, Vapor Trench set in the fastest final sector. So maybe the wets are still the right call. It does look wet enough for the wets. The brollies are still out in the stands on the hills around the track. The rain has eased quite dramatically. As you see, Netsky getting close then to the back of Jay Wizzy. He's all over him like a rash. Netsky wants points. He's done well to get up this far. I think the battle for the podium may still be there. It's not too far up the road. Cobbold picks himself up a penalty. 11 laps so far these wets have done. Can Netsky close the gap at all? At the minute, still 3 tenths behind. Sly Guy picks himself up a penalty. He will not be happy with that. Rappel will know this. Rappel is doing an extremely good job at the front of the grid. This is a very, very fast lobby, but he is also a very, very fast driver. And I'm telling you, he has very good pace in this wet conditions. And you can see he's also got the limits down to a T, as Sly Guy has picked himself up a penalty in second place. And if Rappel can keep it clean, and that will mean he will stay in the lead of this race. It's his to lose at the minute, as Bowers are getting close to the back of Cobbold. The American driver just parking the bus in between the two Ferraris. Noah Jones currently sat in the final points position. Bowers getting all out of shapes on the exit there. Nice and smooth. Cobbold getting a little bit wiggly too, but no major spins for those drivers. Into the pits goes Kazakhs, the Williams. He pits the first of the top 10 to jump into the pit lane. Or the current top 10 to jump into the pit lane. Let's see where he comes out. That means Netsky picks up a position. Who currently has the fastest lap of the race. This could indicate what... tyre, telemetry... What am I looking for? Lap data, here we are. Fastest lap. Okay, Sly Guy still got the fastest lap. As you can see, the intermediate tyre runners, they're all in the 150s. So maybe not that much difference in the lap times at the minute. The track will definitely be drying, but the rain is still coming down. And for now, the drivers at the front are staying out on the wet compound. I need the interval up. Gap interval. Here we are. Kazakhs gets past Noah Jones then. Upper position. James Dovey picks himself up a penalty in the process. And as you can see, Kazakhs there just pulling away from Noah Jones. So maybe it's into weather. Be interested to see who goes onto the intermediate tyres. Almost half the field now on the intermediates. Let's see what the front two do then. I think now's the time to pit. You can see cars are getting past cars on the wet tyres. Let's see what happens here. Rappel dives into the pit lane. Does Sly Guy follow? They do. So they're both in the pit lane. Ooh. A little bit wiggly there from the front two. Jay Wizzy has disconnected, left the session. Not good for him. Ekelund comes into the pit lane. Ryder stays out. He doesn't want to double stack with his teammate, so he may have cost himself a lot of positions there, having to pit. But he keeps the position. Let's see where the furthest back intermediate runner is. That is Kazakhs. Kazakhs who went on the intermediates earlier on. Let's see where he comes out then. See if he's jumped any of drivers. And you know what? It looks like he could jump a good chunk of drivers, and he has done. Kazakhs up to 5th place, purple sector 3, and his undercut has worked a treat for him. Sly Guy and Rappel come out in 2nd and 3rd. Ryder obviously going to have to pit at some point for the intermediates, but didn't want to double stack with his teammate. Cole and Rob still on those wet tyres in 4th place, 13 laps old. 2 drivers left on the wet tyres. Apparently 1st and 4th. They will be losing a lot of time. Gaps all over the place. As they say that, they disappear. Sly Guy and Rappel will stay on board with then, as these two are the closest on track I know of. I need the intervals back fairly quickly. I think we'll see Ryder and Sly Guy pitting this lap without a doubt. But the field is fairly separated at the minute. We see that in these wet conditions. Some drivers struggle more than others. Some drivers exceed in these wet conditions. But it's been a good scrap so far. No DRS, obviously. It'll be interesting to see if this does dry out. But there is rain still coming down. Maybe we'll get a last few laps of dry. As I still have no intervals. But Sly Guy and Ryder have now passed each other. Ryder is into the pit lane. So he's off a pit stop on Rappel and Sly Guy. He was only 10 seconds ahead. That is a horrible sound. So let's see where these drivers come out then. Kazakhs then. We're on board with Kazakhs. He gets the fastest lap of the race. So clearly the Inters are now in their prime. And you'll see, just watch as Ryder and Cole and Rob fall through the grid. And they're going to be out of the points. 2 drivers are up there competing, are now out of the points. Ryder went longer, boxed in by his teammate. And I think Cole and Rob's just made the wrong decision there to pit too late. Maybe to try and go to the end on the intermediates. Those who went early may have a few laps where it's touch and go on the wear. But currently Rappel out in the lead, 1.7 seconds. So he's got the pace on these intermediate tyres. Silly Sly Guy just falling back ever so slightly, and 10 seconds back is the Williams. We'll stay on board to James Dovey though, who is currently in 10th place. Still staying in 10th place for the last few laps. He's the closest man to another car on track. Everyone else separated by 2nd. Actually, no, Bowers is close to Cobalt. We obviously have 1 retirement from the race, and that is Messer in the pit lane. Both Ferraris out of the points. Bauer seems to get a better exit there on the car in front of him, but not close enough to make a move just this second. Netsky picks himself up a penalty then. But he joins a cluster of drivers who have picked up a penalty in that midfield. Rappel sets another fastest lap, so he is currently on for maximum points here in the feature race. And as you can see, he's just pulling away from Sly Guy. So Rappel clearly got extreme pace on his intermediate tyres, doing an absolute stellar job at the front of the grid. And he's going to continue doing this as long as those intermediates hold on. Will be interesting to see if this track does dry up. It does look like it is quite a lot, to be honest. The rain still coming down. Ekelund picks himself up a penalty in 4th place. Ekelund and Kazakhs always so close to each other on the grid. It is very, very interesting to see how consistent these two are in those positions. Bowers then is the closest man to the man in front of him. Everyone else is separated by a second. This is the problem with the rain. You don't get much wheel-to-wheel action, but you sure do get a spectacle where you get to see a lot of drivers push to the limits, pushing the cars to the limits, and seeing how good and how well they can do in difficult conditions. Netsky, though, right on the back of Samba. Samba's dropped way down the field from the start of the race. Clearly not having as much pace as he does normally in the rain compared to other drivers. Netsky, though, on a charge to try and get as many points as he can from the back of the grid. I've worded in that Messerschmitt, the man who has retired, had a dry setup on and found it almost impossible to drive on this setup. Netsky trying to take a wider line in so he gets a better exit, and as you can see, he's right on the back of Samba then. Samba pushing him wide. Is he going to go around the outside? Will we see Netsky appear first? Oh, he's been pushed wide by Samba. Samba pushes Netsky wide. He nearly didn't give him enough room into the turn, but there they are side by side. This may let Ryder through. He's going to go around the outside of the final corner. Netsky had the inside. Netsky's got very good on the brakes. It's going to be side by side into turn one. Little collision there between Netsky and Samba. Two very quick drivers fighting. It's what you like to see. Was it done illegally? I'm not 100% sure. But there was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel banging there. Something I said we're missing from these wet conditions. It's good to see two drivers fighting like that on a quick corner. But that could have ended in tears for Netsky, but luckily it happened at a place where the runoff is big enough just to get your car under control. It sure probably was very slippery for him. But he'll fight back at Samba and come back twice as hard into another corner. You, with no doubt, I am about that one. Netsky then right back off that little scuffle. He's right back on the tail of the Alfa Romeo. That would have ruffled his feathers. But here comes the Swede then. He's going to make a move here. No, he's not. Let's see what Samba's ERS is saying. Well, Netsky has nearly double, so he'll be a sitting duck at some point in this race. Samba didn't want to be passed. Unlike any driver, they don't like getting overtaken. But Netsky's going to hassle him all the way to the line until he gets past him. Netsky sets him up again for the same corner. I'm going to see a repeat of the earlier incident. Netsky looks to the inside this time, very close to the back wheel of Samba, the Alfa Romeo. He drops it wide. Netsky takes the position up the inside, it seems. Netsky up into 7th place. Samba making a mistake, and Netsky is up into 7th place. He takes another position off the Alfa Romeo, and the AlphaTauri moves up into his position. 7th place currently for your championship leader. Good move from him. Came back. He got a little bit of contact, but that just makes a bit more aggression to the driving of Netsky, and he is up into 7th place. This little kerfuffle, though, has allowed the cars behind just a little bit more time and a little bit more space to close up onto these cars. You see two cars butting in front of you. It's what you love to see as a driver, especially on this game. Two cars butting in front is your best wish. Samba makes another mistake, goes deep. May allow Ryder in here. Samba a little bit shaken after the incident with Netsky, maybe. A couple of mistakes in another couple of laps. Jay Wizzy picks up another penalty. I'll take another quick look at the penalty situation as we're currently 10 laps away from the checkered flag. So currently penalties 3 seconds for Sly Guy, Eklund and Vapor, Trench, 6 for IMAX, 3 for Netsky. Samba has 6. So Ryder will know that and will quite comfortably sit in this position, and he will take a few more points if he can stay here and keep it clean. James has 3. Jay Wizzy has 9. Currently the most penalties on track. The two behind him have 6. Bowers sitting on 0. Very clean driver is the Ferrari of Bowers. Noah Jones has 3 and Tribe has 3. I think the cars at the back who did have a few issues will be wanting a safety car at some point, but these drivers are clean. Safety cars are very far and few between in this league. As you can see, Kazak's up 10 positions, Netsky up 12, Rappel up 5. Some great drives here this evening, and a lot of contention for driver of the day. But still 10 laps to go here in Austin. And we are still wet and rainy, but there is a bit of a break in the clouds. You can see the sun is beaming through the clouds ever so slightly as they come through the S section here on board with the Renault of Ryder. The sun seems to be trying to push its way through. Maybe we'll get dry conditions in a few laps' time. But these tyres of the intermediate compound will be feeling the strain come the last few laps for some of these drivers. As you can see, we have Samba on the older set of tyres in front. As you can see here, he is on 8 laps, so he has been on them since lap 11, meaning he'll have 17 laps on these intermediate tyres. I'd like to compare the intermediate lifespan to those of the mediums. And around here they're around 15 or so laps, 15 laps I think. So like I say, it'll be touch and go for him. James Dovey as well. IMAG's also looking to stretch those intermediate tyres out. I think the front few drivers will be okay if the weather conditions stay like they are. Yeah, so 8 laps to go now. If you start lap 20. Rappel still out in the lead, and cruising is the Haas driver, looking for another win to go on from last week's result. Top job from him so far this race, coming through the field at the start, making the most out of mistakes, and when those intermediate tyres went on, he absolutely flew through the field. And it's been a great job from him. Sly Guy just sitting comfortably in second place. He knows he's got a penalty, so it's not worth fighting Rappel at this stage, and he can't get close to him anyway. And he stays in second. Kazak's sitting in third. Ekelund not too far behind him, but Kazak's is currently penaltyless, and he looks quite comfortable in his position. Almost afford to let Ekelund go past and just sit right behind him if that does come to it. Dovey does pick himself up another penalty though. But he does have Jay Wizzy behind him, who does also have more penalties. Ryder is close then to Samba. The closest battle we've got at the minute. Tribe has retired. He's called it a day in the pit lane. He won't be too happy with that performance. Obviously, a incident going into the S section turn 1. S section lap 1, sorry. We have a yellow flag. That'll be Tribe's car coming out the pit lane. Is that going to interfere with Rappel? I do hope not. Let's go on board, see what's going on here. Tribe's car is there. What's it doing? Oh my goodness me. That was very close. Is it going to impede Sly Guy as well? Deary me. I mean, there's not much more Tribe can do. He retired straight away going to the pit lane. But that's the problem when you have no ghosting on. You get these close calls like that. And Rappel was nearly absolutely killed by Tribe's ghost. He's been haunted there. I'm sure he would have been a little bit shaken up by that one. Jay Wizzy not supposed to be good now. I mean, this is just a very, very competitive league. It's great pace in this league. I mean, he's put in performances all season long. As we see Netsky down the inside of IMAX. Again, another late braking from the Swedish driver, but on the switchbacks comes IMAX. He read it a mile off, and he takes the position back. So good driving from both pairs. A good dive, but well read by IMAX, and he keeps the position. Will Netsky go for a move down into the corner here? The left-hander, left, right. Netsky picks the right-hand side, the outside line of the track, the racing line you like, which means he'll have the inside for this corner here. And it is a job done for Netsky, it seems. He doesn't normally lose positions once he takes them. And this time, he does the same. And he's coming in 6th, and IMAG slipping down the inside. But the corner just appears even more frequently. It's a tough move, that one, for the Racing Point. But Netsky Saw it coming, gave him room, let him grind to a halt. And 6th place is Netski's, moving up the field from the back of the grid. Great job so far from the Swedish driver. That's all right, Carl. I just saw the comment. Just thought I'd make a reply on how quick this league actually is. You know, he's a great driver. He is a good driver. You know, I'm guessing it's more just a bit of friendly banter from yourself. And I like that in the chat. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Currently, though, Netski's got past IMAGs and pulled away. Ryder close on the back of Samba then. These two drivers started 2nd and 3rd, I think, on the grid. Currently 8th and 9th. And the wet conditions not really paying to their advantage. It's very close now. There's a bit of a battle going on for the final few points positions. You can see 4 cars in shot. Carl and Rob maybe hoping for a mistake. Ryder's got a better exit here than Samba. As we get the rear wing view, as we always get on the stand, the straight here. Don't really like that camera angle. Can't really see what's going on. What I can see is going on now is that nothing's going on and the train stays the same. But we're on lap 23 now as Rappel ticks over the line. The gap's been closed ever so slightly to Sly Guy, but nothing that's going to threaten Rappel's lead of this race. He's just going to want to pull away even more. Ryder then, 3 tenths behind Samba. No penalties. He knows he doesn't have penalties. He doesn't need to make any stupid moves. The drivers behind might want to put him under a bit of pressure. But for now, staying in the 9th place, doesn't really have much to worry about in terms of penalties. He will get points if he just keeps it on the track. Did a good job on his debut, his Ryder. He has dropped back a little bit, but you know he's doing his job to keep it on track, and he's just picking up points for his new team. Pick up his first points of the season, hopefully here today for Renault. His first drive, first points. Can't really ask for much more than that. As Noah Jones goes into pit lane for new intermediate tyres. Doesn't seem like he was in there for that long to change a front wing. So maybe some cars fill in the effects of these intermediates now. As we're on lap 23, we'll see what happens with pit stops. Could get interesting. The rain definitely eased out, and the track looks a lot drier than it did at the very start of the race, because that was honestly some terrible conditions. But there's been a few racing conditions last week out at Belgium. The rain came down in buckets. It was some of the worst conditions I've ever seen. The racing line was just not visible at all for a lot of the drivers. Bowers getting past Cobalt then, chopping and changing. We'll jump back onto this little battle. And the Williams has the outside line, which means Bowers have the inside. It's tight. No touching. Great clean racing from the pair of them. A little bit of a twitch from Bowers, but he can't make the position. Oh, he's got to take the inside though. That's sneaky. He saw it coming. That's a fantastic move from the Ferrari. Is the Williams going to have to switch back though? Here he comes, side by side. Bowers has the inside. He's almost drifting into the side of the Williams. Side by side racing. And the Ferrari keeps the position down in 13th place. They're not looking at points in a minute, these two drivers, but they are looking to have a bit of fun and keep each other entertained. And it's a job well done from the two of them. Good entertainment in a race that has lacked a lot of overtaking. And Bowers currently in the lead of this race. We jump on board though with James Dovey as he is the back of this train for positions. Joe Whitty trying to get involved. The battle for points is going to be tight and decided on penalties. As you see, a lot of penalties on this track. Lots of places to run off, a lot of corners to cut. And especially in these tough conditions, the limits become even stricter. But you see, all cars still trying to push it on entry to this corner, just trying to keep as much rotation as they can in these wet conditions, trying to get as best exit as they can on the drivers in front of them. But the track is definitely drying out, it seems. We'll go on board with James Davis. He's got much spray in front of him. No, he doesn't. See Ryder taking all the curb. Right on the limit there, the Renault. Just trying to swing it around that inside and get the better run on Samba in front of him. But it's difficult on these intermediate tyres just to get the grip down. You know, you're at that in-between stage where they were for a lot of the race. But now it's just going to be slippery, a bit greasy on that surface. You can see the line just being indented onto the fresh rain that's been laid down. And you see cars taking out almost half throttle. James Dovey, you can see his input there on the bottom right. We see Eklund going to pit lane and Netsky going to pit lane. So are they going on for fresh intermediate tyres? Onto the soft, so Eklund onto the soft tyres. Is it time for a stint then? Are these intermediates pushing their way out of the race? Netsky and Eklund both are going for the soft tyres. Let's see how these drivers do. Let's see what happens. He's going to come out very close to Ryder. Let's see if he can pull away from him. Let's see what the pace is like for these soft tyres. A lot of drivers now going for the soft compound. This may be a very interesting race. I said this at the start. I said that we might see this when the intermediate tyres do go on. We might see a very dry end to the race. Let's see what Eklund is doing and let's see how hard he can push the car. Royalty picks himself up a penalty. It won't be any problem though, as he is currently down in 15th place. But you can see the throttle is easily applicated there by Eklund, and he seems to be flying. Let's see how the gap closes to the car in front. It's 8.8, still 8.8, and look, closing 8.7. It is dry conditions. It is dry conditions. You can see how much he's closing. 8.6 seconds now. Samba gets past a couple of drivers on the soft compound tyres. James Dovey also on the soft compound, and Bowers just slipping back on the intermediates. It is time for 3 laps of intermediates. But interestingly, at the front of the grid, Silly Sly Guy has gone on to the soft tyres. And will Kazakh stay out? That's going to be the question. Kazakh does stay out, so Kazakh's going to take second place of the race. Sly Guy's gone to the soft compound. Let's see what happens with Rappel at the front then. Rappel stays out. He has a nice juicy lead of 12 seconds, nearly 13 at the front of the race. The rain is still coming down. There's still rain on the surface. It's very greasy, you can see. But it's not as quick as it was on those tyres. 3 laps to go. Still 13 seconds clear. Let's see how quickly Sly Guy can close the gap. Only 6 seconds behind the car in front. Kazakhs will be probably looking to go to the end. I'm surprised some of these cars stayed out. So we've had a few chopping changings in the grid. I'll let a few of the pit stops happen. And then come next lap, I'll do a little recap and see where we are in terms of penalties. I'll also open up vote for driver of the day in the comments on lap 27. As you see, Jay Prentice unlapping himself on the soft compound, so making it difficult for Rappel to maybe showing him these tyres are faster than yours, mate. I want to get past. I want to try and unlap myself. I want to try and have as much fun as I can. And clearly, those soft tyres are a lot faster at this moment in time. You already see Silly Sly Guy's taken 3 seconds or so, 4 maybe now, out of the car ahead of him. Netsky gets past Car and Rob easily on the soft compound. A good call from some of the drivers. Netsky as well, picking up points. Let's see what happens at the front of the grid. If Rappel pits now, he's just going to get undercut massively. So maybe it's down to Rappel just to stay out. But he does pit. We'll see what happens then. Prentice picks himself up a 3-second penalty in the process. Rappel into the pit lane. Let's see where Sly Guy comes out then. He's coming around the final couple of corners. Will he get past him? He takes a lot of curb there. Remember, he does have a 3-second time penalty. Kazakh stays out as well. Interesting. Kazakh stays out. He's not going to win the race, Kazakhs, I don't think. Rappel's into the pit lane. So is Rain Man. The Rain Man not having a rain dance at the minute. Silly Sly Guy's got past Rappel. Rappel is 3.3 seconds behind. 3.3. Rappel has pitted then. This was a good call from Sly Guy, it seems. And he's just going to have to pull away as much as he can. We have a sector 3 yellow flag. There is a car gone off. It is Samba in the Alfa Romeo. He is facing the wrong way. He's on a soft compound and comes out on dangerously and clips Jay Wizzy. Has Jay Wizzy picked up damage there? No, he hasn't. Samba has got himself a 5-second penalty, though. That is a very unsafe rejoining from him. Eklund gets past Trench on the compound. It's all choppy and changing. It's all over the place. Kazakh has been passed by Rappel. Kazakh stays out. Eklund is not too far behind the Williams driver as we're now on the second to last lap. I would not be surprised if he got past. Under 3 seconds though, as DRS is now enabled And Rappel is charging after Sly Guy. Sly Guy's got 4 attempts now to make up if he wants to win this race. It's going to be tight come the end of the race, but I think Rappel might just have the pace. 1 lap newer tyres, and it's now down to 2.5 seconds. It's all kicking off. Royams's got past Samba. Samba's had an absolute mare, losing the car, pushed him too hard on those soft compound. Still a bit of respect needs to be paid to the tarmac. It's going to be wet. Rappel is reining in the car ahead of him. It looks like his race to win now. Is that a puncture? I think Kazix might have a puncher on that front right. He does. Kazix has a puncher. He stayed out. And a bad call nearly kills his mate Ekeland. And Kazix into the pit lane. Rainman getting involved. He's back. Kazix has a puncher. He's going to drop down positions. Wheel spin galore for Ekeland. Kazix, oh, that's terrible for him. Feel bad. Vapor Trench is still on the intermediate tyres then. He's going to be pressured from behind. Netsky's going to see him ahead. What's going to happen here? Currently, Sly Guy on the lead. Rappel behind him. Rappel will win. He is on the second position at the moment. No penalties for the Englishman. Let's have a look at positions gained. I'm on the wrong thing. Penalties. Sly Guy has 8 seconds. What happened? Speeding into pit lane. Did I miss that? Well, it's definitely Rappel's win now. Positions gained. We are looking for position change. There we go. There's your position changes. Get in your comments now. Votes for driver of the day. We have a McLaren round. It's Prentice. He's had a terrible last couple of weeks. He needs to get out of the way. Make sure he doesn't rejoin it dangerously. But yeah, it's not been the best race at all. We'll stay on penalties for the thing. I am flicking too many things. I do apologise. Currently, the lead is with Sly Guy. He's not going to win though. We'll stay on board with him as he comes around the final corner for the 28th time. We have yellow flags all over the place. There is a Ferrari ahead of these two. That will probably be Noah Jones. But here comes Sly Guy across the line in first place. That will change. Rappel wins in Austin. Ekeland is going to come across the line in third. Or is he? Yes, he will. Netsky will take 4th place. And it will come across the line. We'll keep updated as the scoreboard happens. But what an interesting race. 3 tyre compounds. All in one race. The sky's brightened up. We saw that happening later on into that intermediate stint. Vapor Trench takes 5th. IMAX comes across in 7th. But Kazix jumps them all. Clean racing gets you points. And Kazix takes 5th. James Duffy comes across in 8th place. I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that. Ryder on his debut takes 8th due to penalties. And Carl Robb crosses the line in 10th. Jay Wizzy has no wheel across the... He actually didn't finish. He crashed out before the finish line, which means Cobalt will get 11th. Jay Wizzy just giving himself back on the grid now for the... Jay Wizzy crashing out there has taken him out of the sprint race reverse grid and put himself at the back. If he just crossed the line, he would have had more paces in a sprint race. But unfortunately, Jay Wizzy has lost the wheel on the final corner and a final lap. Something we saw Bowers do in F2 last season. The day time he had to cross the line, but that will impede his sprint race starting position. But what a race, what a spectacle from these drivers. Difficult conditions all the way through, difficult strategical options. Vote for driver of the day in the comments, please. Would be much appreciated. Hope you all had a great time. Netsky gets the on-field driver of the day. The games driver of the day. I'm not going to be arguing with that if that is the chosen decision. But overall, fantastic race. A good podium, well thought out by some of the drivers. Let me just get on the comments and see what's happening here. Awesome guy getting involved in the chat. So I got far so good penalty spinning in the pit lane. Yeah, I thought so. Next key did easy avoiding positions. That's 50. Yeah, it depends how dry the track is. You can see it's still raining, but you see a lot of times when it starts raining, you see a lot of cars starting on the soft tyres when it's raining as well. So it takes quite a while for the rain to come down. But let's do a little recap then. Rappel from 6th place to 1st. Sly Guy 2nd from 1st. Ekeland takes 3rd. Netsky is in 5th. Kazix takes fifth. He had a good recovery drive for him. Sixth place for Vapor Trench. Seventh for IMAX. Ryder Dahl on his debut takes eighth. Dovey takes ninth. So he's back in the points again. He'll be happy with that one. The Worstman Colin Robb is in 10th. Vapor Cobalt takes 11th. Bowers in 12th. Roimsey is in 13th. Samba 14th. Wizzy 15th. Rainman 16th. 17th Noah Jones. Prentice 18th. Tribe 19th. And Messer is in last position as he did not finish the race. But it's been a good, very good spectacle. I think the driver of the day has to go to Netsky. Good championship leader from the back of the grid after getting disqualified in qualifying. He is your driver of the day. We have a sprint race coming up very, very shortly. For now, though, I will leave you with the waiting screen and enjoy the wonderful theme tune that is the F1's theme. I'll be back in about 5 minutes' time to have a little conversation with you all. Hope you enjoyed that one. I definitely did. And I'll be back in just a minute's time. Hello guys, welcome back to the sprint race. We are about to get going here in the USA for the reverse grid. Let me just try to take you through the drivers' standings. This is from the results from last week, and I've looked to see how they have been impacted by this week's showing. Netsky picked up 4th place, so he takes more points towards his title push. Looking for 3 consecutive titles is the Swedish driver. Ekelund picked up a few points, and I'm sure he'll be keeping hold of his 2nd place for now, unless anything disastrous happens in the remaining races. Sly Guy came 2nd, and he will continue pushing up the table after his very impressive start back from his illness. Kazakhs was consistent again, picked up some points. Jay Wizzy was just being whizzed around and lost his car on the final corner into the wall. But if we look at Rappel, he's currently in 8th place. Rory Appleton picked up the win, his 3rd win already in 5 race starts, so he'll be at the back of the reverse grid sprint race, but he is looking to push his way up the table, and we'll do that with a mighty fine 26 points showing. But now it's time to have a look at the Constructors' Championship again. And AlphaTauri, Rayman finished outside the points. Netsky did well to recover to 4th place. Alfa Romeo did well. Renault also picked themselves up, I believe, a double points finish. Haas wasn't the greatest day for them in terms of team-wise, with Messerschmitt finishing last, but their teammate of Rappel took the lead. Noah Jones and Bowers didn't have the greatest day at the office. Bowers picked up a few points, but they're on. It's going to be close in that midfield for a few races to come now. But let's take you back to the action. And as you can see, the sun is out, and the drivers are just getting their setups ready before the formation lap. The drivers will be ready. I've been told it is going to be fully dry, so it's going to be a different race to what we saw around 15 minutes ago. Looking forward to a very, very good dry race and some actual wheel-to-wheel action here in Austin, USA. The driver's now readied up and ready to go. Let's have some predictions in the chat. If you are watching along, who do you believe will win this race? I think Jay Wizzy will be in a good shout after his last corner crash. As you can see, a nice mixture of tyres throughout the field. Jay Prentice starts on pole. Let's have a look at the tyres and see what the drivers have chosen as we cycle through the field. So it's a mixed bag from all drivers. Jay Prentice starts from the front, medium tyres for him. Noah Jones follows suit in the Ferrari. Rayman is on the soft tyres from 3rd place, and Samba is in 4th on the softs too. Roymsey is in 5th on the mediums, also choosing to go for the same tyre compound as his teammate. Bowers takes the soft compound alternative to his teammate. Cobalt on the mediums, Carl and Rob on the softs, Dovey mediums, Ryder softs, and as you can see, a mixed bag all the way through to Isaac Racer, who's filling in for the sprint race. So another reserve here for the sprint race. Good to see him making his debut this season. On the back of the grid, Jay Wizzy's joined on the formation lap. Please don't tell me that's going to glitch the whole lobby out. As you see, some very aggressive swerving from the Alfa Romeo there. Samba looking to get as much heat as he can into those tyres before race kicks off. I hope the lobby won't be glitched by Jay Wizzy rejoining. This happened last time and the whole game was broken In the words of Lando Norris. It's broken. But for now, Jay Prentice is going round the long right-hand corner. Let's see what some... So, obviously, it's going to be an easy soft-medium or medium-soft strategy for the drivers. McLaren looking here to pick up some points, starting in 1st and 5th. Same as Ferrari in 2nd and 6th. They were looking to take advantage of these high up positions to try and get in the points. Obviously, there is a reduced points available for the sprint race, but still enough to boost your team up the table. Here they go then, the cars lining up on the grid for lights out for the sprint race. Cars have kept it clean, no disqualified drivers on this formation lap, unlike the 3 on the previous. But here we go then. The lights are about to light up. Those drivers are getting ready for final preparations before they launch. So we have 3, 4 and 5 red lights. And the drivers are underway here in Austin, Texas for the 2nd time this evening. It's the sprint race. CSGB Rainman seems to get a great start down the inside of Jay Prentice. Jay Prentice only going backwards, it seems. He's got to lose 2 or 3 positions. No, he holds it round the outside. A few cars drifting off wide there, but then again, no incidences. So Rainman up from 3rd takes the lead of the sprint race. A good job from the league director himself. Kept it clean for the S section this time because it's dry. Samba looking all over the sides of Jay Prentice. Little wheel banging. He's got the inside for this turn. Jay Prentice has got to fight around the outside. He is on the medium compound. He's got to let Noah Jones in as well, though. Noah Jones looking to make a move on the McLaren driver. So Jay Prentice only going backwards in a minute. It's tight as they come through down the little hairpin section before the DRS straight, which is not enabled yet, but it's very tight in the middle of the pack. And it looks like Ryder's got the run on the cars behind, but it seems to be James Lovey's gone round on the hairpin. Oh, it changed that just now. There's a lot of chopping and changing going on in this mid-pack. The Mercedes car and Rob being under pressure by IMAX. IMAX go down the inside of the Mercedes driver. Mercedes driver holds it around the outside. It's got Lenetsky through though. Lenetsky's going to dive down the inside. Bit of contact with the racing point, but he gets through as well. So IMAX calling mistakes. Jay Prentice fighting back with the Ferrari. Roimsey looking to go around the outside of the Renault as well. So more wheel-to-wheel action than we've had in a whole race on this first lap. More yellow flags. That is a racing point gone round. IMAX, after having a terrible start on lap 1, he is round. More yellow flags flashing. It's been instant in midfield. It's still tight here, but it needs 3 drivers side by side between Renault and the McLaren. Roimsey and Ryder fighting at 2 Rs, and round goes Roimsey. He's almost upside down. He's somehow still in the race. Colin Robson to the wall as well, and he's taken Vapor Cobalt with him. Vapor Cobalt was a bystander and all of that. The safety car is out. That was a mess. That all started from a car dropping into the wall. I think it was Roimsey. Maybe a little bit of contact. He has no wing. There's a Williams sat flung across the track. And there's a lot of cars in the pit lane. 3 people retired. Bowers, Vapor Cobalt and James Dovey. That was a mess coming out of there. The drivers need to go around one more time. I'm sure we're going to see a few pit stops. IMAX has got in at the right time, it seems. He's going to be on the hard tyres. The cars ahead aren't too far ahead. So he's going to the end on them. That was a very eventful end to the first lap. I was saying how clean it was going. It's not at all. That was an absolute mess. Rayman will be disappointed as he got an absolute great start ahead of everyone behind him. But big crash on the opening lap here of the sprint race. It all started with IMAX had a bit of a kerfuffle in the midfield. Falling down, he spun. James Dovey spun a little bit before, just foreboding what's going to happen. A few corners later, and all hell set loose. Car bouncing back into the middle of the track and picked up Vapor Cobalt on the way. He was a bystander, wheel off for him. Damage, carbon fibre everywhere. Safety car waiting just before the S section to pit these drivers up. Be interesting to see if any of these pit. I'm sure we'll see a lot of pitters coming in. So it's going to be a reduced sprint race as Rainman stays out. Well, no, he doesn't. He goes into pit lane. Just gave me a terrible angle. I'm sure we'll see a lot of people go into the pits here as we go through. Jay Prentice stays out on the medium tyres, so he's going to be leading us around for the safety car restart. The man who led the race is now going to be leading again. All medium runners staying out. There's a few drivers left on that compound. Let's see what some people have to say on this incident. So as you can see, everyone's pitted apart from the top three. Noah Jones, Rappel, Jay Wizzy, Sly Guy, Messer and Roymes are hoping those softs are going to the end. They probably will, as there's only 9 laps or so to go. Will be a lot less after the safety car comes in. James Duffy says no comments in the comments. I didn't actually see what happened. I just saw a Red Bull facing the wrong way, and it wasn't Tribe, that meant it had to be you. But you two just swapping roles this race, I guess. He came at the back, he didn't finish last race, he got the points, and it's his job to do the job next time, so don't put any pressure on him. I say that, meaning you should go and put some pressure on him. But that was an eventful start. Safety cars come out. The Mercedes AMG is being driven around at high speed, whereas these 1,000 horsepower cars sit right on. Jay Prentice is pitting now. He dives in, leaves Eckler now, as well as Isaac on his debut. Jay Prentice going for the pit stop. He's got to lose positions, unfortunately for him. But he will pick up a free pit stop. He's going to the soft tyres. And that's his pit stop completed. IMAG's also in as well. Maybe retiring. No. IMAG's going back on to the medium tyres then. Just for a bit more pace, I think, on the restart. As the safety car will come in this lap. With the field all nicely bunched up together, just waiting for the racing point of IMAGs to jump onto the back of the train. If you missed it, we had a big old accident on the last corner of the first lap. One car into the wall, bouncing back out, clipping another one, and then what came through was the Williams car, or Vapor Cobalt. He couldn't do much about it. He hit a car very hard, and that was the end of that for him. Roymsey is somehow still in one piece, and after that a terrible incident, still ahead of his teammate. There will be Eklund getting us restarted under the way. 2 drivers yet to pit, himself and Isaac behind in the Williams. Maybe hoping for another yellow flag, safety car, or a virtual safety car later on in the race. And as you can see, safety car's been called in nice and early to give Eklund a nice bit of time to back up the field. It's going to be good to watch Noah Jones and Rappel battle it out on this restart, as they are the soft runners. But we'll stay on board with Eklund, see how he gets us underway, see where he gets us underway. Let's hope for a clean restart. Drivers in this league are normally extremely clean, but when one mistake like that happens in a very tight area of the track, with no ghosting on, these things are going to happen, aren't they? And that wasn't pretty for 3 drivers, and that's their race is done. But here we go then. Safety car coming in. Safety car is now in the pit lane. He can go when he wants. He goes now. Gets a fantastic restart, giving himself almost a second clear. Pulls away from Isaac behind him, caught him napping. It's going to leave the cars behind, right on the tail of the Williams driver. Here's Rainman looking to make a move. Will he go up the inside? No, he won't. He backs off. There's a Ferrari going deep for a deep dive round the inside of Samba. It's Noah Jones. Like I said, watch out for him on the soft tyres. A little bit of contact with Samba. He pushed him wide, but nothing doing for me in that. No incident to be reported. Jay Wizzy picks up a penalty. Someone else picked up a penalty there. That was Tryby. So they're on 3 seconds already. Not great from them. Not great for them, I should say. There is a Mercedes going very wide back there. We have a yellow flag as well. That was Roimsey going around again. I saw someone flinging it around into the first bit of the X section, trying to go around the outside. Not something I would suggest. It's all getting very clustered in here. Rappel looking to make the most of those soft compound tyres. He's already got past Noah Jones. He's looking to get past Samba now. As you see, Rainman pull out, and he gets to pass the Williams of Isaac. Isaac got to go backwards on his older tyres as he goes deep into the corner. Samba then round the outside. Netsky picks himself a penalty for corner cutting. And Isaac's just dropping positions here. Guess who's also going for a go? It's Rappel round the inside. Maybe a little contact there. You saw the driver flapping his arm out saying, "What are you doing?" But a number 9 car of the Haas gets through. And Isaac's just dropping like snow here in USA. And he's dropped down from 2nd to 6th on 1 lap. New tyres, quicker pace. Some cars going wide there. Not entirely sure what's happened. See side by side between the Renault here. I'll see Sly Guy and Tryby. Tryby forcing his way down the inside. It's side by side. Sly Guy got the better exit on the soft tyres. A little bit of wheel bashing there going on between the two. They're side by side. Tryby's going to have the inside line though, so he's going to be whether he could be late on the brakes, but he's not. Sly Guy is. He completely outbrakes himself, and Tryby takes a position. Guess who's going to take the position? Jay Wizzy fancies a bit of the action as well, but Sly Guy slips himself right back up the inside before the S section. Great move from him. Looked like he lost a position, but he gains it back just as quickly, and that is a good move for himself. Messer then looking to try and get involved in the act after a disappointing feature race. But as this is all going on, Eklund at the front, he's just pulling away from the rest of the field. He'll be having a great time, but he does still need to pit, so he's doing the job he needs to do on those old tyres. Here goes Messer then round the outside of Jay Wizzy. Jay Wizzy, who just cuts straight back in front of him and says, "I want 9th position at the minute." And he takes it. DRS still not enabled. It will be next lap. Samba is close to the back of Rainman, but Rainman just parking his car in all the right places. Tryby closing right in on the side of Isaac Racer. Racer now down in 7th place. Tryby does sneak up the inside. A little bit of backlog there. It's going to cause a bit of wing damage if anything goes wrong. It's going to be another pile up. Here goes down the inside. Jay Wizzy takes the whole corner. No wonder he's got a penalty there. He caused a collision though with the Williams to allow Tryby down the inside. We've got a great camera angle of this one. Tryby taking all the track on the inside. It's going to be 4 wide into this last turn. And there's the braking. There's getting too close to one another. Tryby is going to drop back. He can go to the pits because Isaac Racer. And Wizzy sneaks up the inside, takes the position of the first place of this train. Tryby in 2nd. Behind him is Messerich and Netsky waiting to capitalise on any mistakes. I'm not sure any wing damage came into there. But it's still fighting side by side. Late from Tryby. He needs points. He didn't get them last time out. Takes a lot of corner, but he got a warning there. Little tap from Jay Wizzy as he goes wide. And behind him, Messerschmitt all under pressure from Netsky. Netsky wants to get him before the S section. Messerschmitt's diving down the inside of Tryby as well. It's side by side. Great move from Messer there. Great move. Fantastic. Top stuff from him. Tryby looking to fight back. He's under pressure all over him. And this is an absolute thrilling fight in this midfield. You can see how close it is all the way through. It's side by side. Can't give up all the action. As you look at this, going side by side is Noah Jones and see Sly Guy. Noah Jones on the soft compound. Slipped through and into the side of Rappel. Rappel fighting with Noah. Noah dives his way in there, and with open arms, Silly Sly Guy takes the gift, and he takes 4th place. They're only going to come back faster. There's been an incident at the back of the race. It's a Mercedes out, and we have another safety car. I'll tell you, I love this. Eklund's get a free pit stop under the safety car. The field is so close together. We have another safety car in 7 laps, and this is all action here in the sprint race at the moment. We have no safety cars for a whole feature race for a whole week, whole 2 weeks, and we have 2 in the space of 7 laps. It's good to see though. The drivers clearly missing out fighting the last race in the feature race in the wet conditions. They're loving this, and it's fantastic to see. It's very hard to keep up, as you can tell by my voice. I'm struggling to try and stay on top of all the action and try my best. But the drivers are giving me a great show. Probably giving you a great show as well watching. And Netsky gets 5-second penalty, severe collision with Tryby. There's a whole stream of cars into the pit lane. And when the safety car comes in, we'll probably have 2 or 3 laps left. Catch your breath, boys and girls, and anything. Catch whatever you can, because I am just as amazed at how close some of that racing was. But you saw it. It was so close, and then the mistake happened. Not where I thought it was going to happen. It happened at the back of the field. Cole and Rob, unfortunately, the victim of this incident. There'll be a steward's inquiry, I'm sure, unless he just dropped off his own back. But yeah, it's been a great start. Very interesting. Good for a spectator's point of view. One where the driver's got to stay very concentrated for the remaining few laps. It's going to be a shootout, I'm sure. Eklund, who was leading this race, comes down 8th place. I'm sure he would have much preferred a virtual safety car, as he then would have been able to continue. But the field back gets back together, and everyone from 7th, 8th downwards has got on a new set of tyres. So they're going to be trying to come through the field as quickly as they can. Currently, though, leading is Samba from Rainman to Silly Sly Guy. A few penalties here and there. Netsky currently down in 9th place. So in the comments, I've seen you saying a few silly moves have been made throughout the field. I did miss a few of them, so there's going to be a lot of inquests, I'm sure. Welcome, though, to all of you in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. It means a lot. But these drivers are definitely putting on a show for you. But a few mistakes here and there as Carl and Rob leaves the session after his retirement. Trench is in the pits. And we have another lap under the safety car. I think we have more laps under the safety car this race than we have of actual racing. But the racing has been enthralling, I can tell you that for sure. But we're going to have a good shootout for the final four laps, as this will be the last lap under the safety car, as the group has now rejoined together. Any predictions for the win in the comments, please let me know. It will be Samba this time to get us underway. Different Alfa Romeo leading the charge. There'll be no more pit stops from any of the drivers. Some of the drivers in the midfield just capitalising on the extra safety car to pick themselves up a few more positions, maybe on the restart. IMAX may be a sitting duck here for the cars behind. He's on 4-lap hold at medium tyres. The safety car gets called in and we'll be ready to go in a few moments' time. Samba backing up the field. Let's get into the televised camera angles to get a bigger field of view. I don't know where I was going with that word more, but let's see if Samba goes as early as his teammate did. It's down to him to get a restart, but we have Rainman ready and willing to go. The Renault as well. See, like, look, not warming up his tyres. He's waiting for the jump. When will Samba go? Eklund went about here. Samba's not going to. He's saving it. Bit of wibbling, bit of speeding up. Still not gone. So leaving it very late then. The Alfa Romeo driver. But here he goes. Foot to the floor. We are restarting again. The green flags will shine. And there's been an incident on the back of the grid. Roimsey is... Yellow flag. I think he's in the pit lane. I think Roimsey's calling it a day. Not sure what's happened there. But he's back of the round. Jay Wizzy. Zoom up the inside. Yellow flags galore into turn 1. What's happening? We have a Haas. Rappel has had a big accident, it seems. And round the outside goes Tribe, looking to get round Messer. But through the grid, we see there have been a lot of instances I missed them as well. The camera angle from the leader really isn't that helpful. Tryby then looking to get around Messer and gets past him. Tryby's fallen down the grid. Unfortunately for him, Messer on 6-lap old soft tyres. He's not going anywhere on them. Tryby, 3-second penalty. Close between Ekelund and Imags. We'll sit on board with Netsky as he gets a nice view of it, hoping for a mistake. Ekelund though, down the inside. Still no DRS. DRS seems to be not allowed to come out this map, this race. Here goes Ekelund then, diving down the inside of Imags. He's got to try and put Imags between himself and Netsky. As Netsky looks to have a go as well. He is not quite close enough. But Ekelund moves his way up the field. Rayman battling with Sly Guy. Sly Guy's going to have the slight advantage on those softer tyres. But they will be dying very shortly. I can tell you that much. Samba though, pulling away, 1.6 seconds. There's a battle behind him. Netsky looking to get past Imags as well now. He does. Imags, can he get the switch back? No, and he loses the car. Will that allow Jay Prentice in on the act? He's fought back well after pitting later on than everyone else under the first safety car. Trench gets a penalty. Jay Wizzy sitting in a bad position at the minute. Surrounded by cars with no penalties. He is the only one with it. Sly Guy looking to get onto action with Rayman. He gets a much better exit than the AlphaTauri driver. Is Rayman going to switch down the inside? No, he doesn't. So it's a good move from Sly Guy on the exit of the final corner. And when turn 1 appears, he's ahead of the the AlphaTauri driver. Sly Guy just moving forward as well. A great start from him. Let's have a little look at the position changes. This one. Position change up 13 places for him, as well as Jay Wizzy. So he's looking to make a move. He had a great start. Safety car's helping him out, obviously, and he is looking to take advantage now of his pace he's got. Looking to close the gap on Samba. It's already down to a second and below. Ekelund fighting for positions. Netsky on his tail. Jay Wizzy in front of him. Netsky's going to be fighting this, isn't he? Into turn number 1. This camera angle's awful. Jay Wizzy's looking to go down the inside of Rayman as well. He does he? Yes, he does. So third place for Jay Wizzy, but he does have a penalty. He's got to make moves if he does want points. Rayman, though, can sit pretty. Ekelund looking to try and make a move as well, but Netsky just sitting behind the pair of them, hoping for a mistake. But here goes, round the outside. Goes Ekelund on Rayman. We have the inside for the long left-hander. The AlphaTauri's getting close. Netsky goes through as well. And Rayman has just lost about 3 positions in 2 corners then. Netsky then up at the 5th place. Doing well. Getting more points like he normally does. Ekelund is going to be on the back of Jay Wizzy. Will he get slidey out of this corner? No, he won't. Lap 12 then begins. And it's Samba leading from Sly Guy. Sly Guy sets the fastest lap. You saw the purple come up there. We're right on board with his front wing as he takes us through the S section now. Right on the rear of Samba. Chopping, changing in the midfield. Rayman back up positions. Vapor Trench looking to make up positions as well. There's a Ferrari round. Noah Jones is facing the wrong way. He's on the grass. He's turned into a lawnmower. And his sprint race is over for now, barring any drastic comeback. And he is out of the points. Yellow flags. That is Noah round again. And that for sure seals his fate in the sprint race. City Sly Guy then 4 tenths behind Samba. DRS then is going to be enabled. He's open. The rear wing is open. Samba, maybe a sitting duck here. Let's see. He swings left early. Swings right. 2 defensive moves. He's moving again. I'm not sure entirely if that's allowed. But Silly Sly Guy makes the move anyway and gets past quite comfortably. He's going to fight it though. Is Samba down the inside here of the double right-hander as the Sector 2 finishes and Sector 3 begins. The Renault driver looking to the inside now. A little bit of wheel bashing. I'm not sure Silly Sly Guy's going to be too happy with the moves down the straight. And he keeps the position. He takes the lead here. Good move for Sly Guy. Bit of distraction. Netsky up to 4th place as he gets past Jay Wizzy. Jay Wizzy's going to want to fight this back, I'm sure. Will he be able to have the inside corner? No, he won't. He might have DRS though down the main straight. But so will Netsky as he's within the 1 second gap. Lap 13 then will begin as Sly Guy crosses the line. And it's very close. Battle for points is definitely heating up. Vapor Trench looking to go left, looking to go right, goes left, down the inside of Imags. Imags is going to read it. He pushed him wide, keeps the position. Good move from the Mercedes. Rayman's moving backwards, as is Imags, and Ryder's gone through as well, so he's back in the points. Here's a good start from him to his CSGB campaign. And looking to pick up as many points as he can for Renault and try and push them up the Constructors' leaderboards. But for now, it is Sly Guy leading the race. As they're now coming up to the DRS straight. Let's see what Samba can do. Ekelund might want to get involved in the act Good so far for Alfa Romeo. They need as many points as they can to try and catch up to the back of AlphaTauri. Only Netsky in the points then for them. Is Samba going to be close enough to make a move to Sly Guy? No, Sly Guy burning a lot of his ERS, and he stays in first for now. Very close between the front three. Netsky wants to get involved in the act as well. Stay on board with Netsky. He's got the best view of what's happening in front of him. Probably the view he would want. But the Alfa Romeo drivers can afford to be careful. I think one of them might be able to get each other as they now come around the final corner of the penultimate lap. Quite a few corners. Triby and Noah battling at the back there in their own little race. Good to see them having a bit of fun. Oh, Messa's there as well. So here we go then. Final lap begins. It's been a very eventful sprint race. Eklund, Samba, Sly Guy or Netsky. Who's going to win it? Not Netsky. He's got a penalty. We'll see what happens. We'll stay on board with this though. Samba getting slippery. Did a bit for Samba. Brazilian dance on his car. Slippery, sliding out of turn 3. Here they come from them through the S section. On board with Eklund. Currently the highest seated driver on the championship standings. On the newest set of tyres, he's got 5 laps on the cars ahead. He's going to have the most grip. There's a yellow flag behind. That is Noah Jones. He's come out of a battle for the back of the grid. Here we go then. Sly Guy goes deep. Might have the exit. Let's see what happens then. It's all going to unfold here. This is it. This is the final chance to move up on the podium. Samba then. Closing. Still closing. Goes outside. Has he got the move done? Will he be able to brake late? Sly Guy has the inside line for this corner. Will he go around the outside? It's Samba. Samba dances round the inside now of the double right-hander. Has he still got a position? I can't see where Sly Guy is. Sly Guy is still there. He's got the inside for this double left-hander. Is Samba going to move, switch back around the inside? It's tight, I'll tell you that. Eklund's watching with Netsky right up the backside of himself. Here goes Sly Guy then. Sly Guy is leading. They come over this apex. Who's going to clip it first? It's Sly Guy. Sly Guy taking a lot of curb. He's done enough. He's won. Fantastic drive from the Renault driver. He loves that. A little bit of a wiggle across the line. As an Alfa Romeo 2, 3. Good drive from them as well. Jay Prentice takes 4th. He'll be over the moon with that one. Nice comeback from him. Isaac Racer on debut takes 5th. Faber Trench is 6th. 7th for Ryder. Good points for him as well. Renault taking more points today. Netsky drops away down to 8th for his penalty. Rappel takes 9th. He sure would have been wanted to do better than that. A little bit of an incident after the second safety car restart. IMAX takes 10th. 11th for Rayman. Jay Wizzy 12th. Triby 13th. Messa 14th. And Noah Jones in 15th. And that concludes an incredible racing evening. And that concludes the sprint race. It's a top drive from Sly Guy. He is driver of the day. And there's going to be definitely a few incidents to have a look at for the stewards. But that is it for the standings. That is it for today's racing. Thank you all for tuning in. Massive shout out to you lot for watching. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyable race. Thoroughly enjoyable race to watch. Isaac Racer takes driver of the day then. On the game, let's have a look at the final standings. It is Sly Guy on the podium. First place for him. GG from Formula Hun in the chat. GG's indeed. Very, very good race from them all. So here's your final rundown then. See Sly Guy 15th to 1st. What a drive for him. Samba takes 2nd. And he will enjoy that on his debut as well. Eklund takes 3rd. Prentice 4th from pole position. Vital point for his confidence. Isaac Racer from the back of the grid takes 5th. So nice to see him making his way up the field. Very good from him on his debut. Good prospect we have in the ranks. 6th for Vapor Trench. Ryder takes 7th. Netsky 8th. Rappel 9th. And Iron Mags 10th. Top stuff from all drivers involved today. Tough track. Definitely a tough track. And yeah, I want to say well done to you all, especially those top three. Absolute brilliant race for them. Joe Prentice got a little bit stuck with his pit stops, but he made it work. And yeah, all I want to say is thank you all for tuning in. Please subscribe if you are new to CSGB. We have a lot of drivers now in the ranks. A lot of drivers now filling in and joining the CSGB Discord. So it's good to see CSGB grow. I thoroughly enjoy my Monday nights commentating on this extremely quick league now. And those few races will blow the title race open. Slight going Rappel coming back. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow night with Oliver Bowers and James Dovey. We'll take you through the F2 action, a repeat of tonight's action. Just with the F2 division, always chaos in F2, but always great fun as well. So please join in there as well. Same time, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And if you want to join in F1 again, that will be Monday night at 7 o'clock next week. But yeah, thank you all for the comments. Thank you all for joining in. And yeah, see you next week with another brilliant